Hello, hello. Back again with another video. So it's about Sexologists debunked 17 sex myths. All right. I'm already pissed off. I haven't seen the video yet, but just from the start, I'm already annoyed. There's no birth control for people with penises. That used to be called men. So I already know it's going to be some sort of woke liberal institution that just fucking, why is politics and science, man? It just annoys me. Just like certain things should be separate. Like you can't just. Anyways, let's see what they're talking about.
Birth control for people with penises.
We made a COVID vaccine in less than a year. You are telling me we cannot get birth control for people with penises?
My name is Gina Suwanesi. I use she, they pronouns. I'm a sexuality and relationships.
I don't give a shit about your pronouns, you bitch. Just tell me your title, your occupation, and then move on with the lesson. You beat me over the head with this. People with penises, pronouns, off the bat. I've already lost confidence in your credentials.
Educator.
Hi, my name is Varuna. I use she, they pronouns. I am a physician by training, a public health researcher, and I am interested.
How did her accent disappear when she was saying that nonsense? It's almost like she practiced it.
In the intersections between mental health and sexuality in South Asian cultures.
And today we are
the intersex between what the what kind of person gets into a field to study a specific culture? That just seems kind of weird. Like you have a racist mindset off bat. Because whatever applies to one group of people, unless it's specifically culturally irrelevant, applies to all the other groups of people. Unless you think because of people's races, all of a sudden, sex affects them different. Like, this is just, I hate this world that we live in, where this is the kind of stuff they're teaching in colleges. The most racist timeline is now. It's not racially aggressive, but it's racially passive aggressive. And it's more prevalent.
Myths around sex and sexuality. These are myths from pop culture.
Broken hymen means a person has had sex before. No.
I'm pretty sure everyone already knows that, lady. I don't know how much of a myth that's been, but that's been debunked for a long time.
Oh, absolutely not. Yes, some women do have a hymen and some women don't, but I don't think that...
Who the hell is even testing for the hymen, lady? If it's a professional, they would know that. And how would any random person even know about to check for a hymen? I don't even know where it is. It's an irrelevant thing to debunk.
That we have scientifically proven that a broken hymen is the test of a virginity. Also, why is it that only people with vaginas and hymens have this test? What about people with penises?
What in the hell did you just say? How did you get your degree? What a childish ass response. I would expect that from a 10-year-old.
I also want to call out rapper T.I. Men like him go to the gynecologist.
You want to call out T.I. because he said something salacious. T.I. is an idiot. And he's weird. Most rappers are idiots and weird. You don't need to call them out. They're not representative of the population.
And say, I need you to examine my daughter's hymen once a year to make sure it's intact. This is something that gets me really aggravated.
It could get you aggravated, lady, but it's probably not true. And even if he did do that, it's harmless.
This one definitely contributes to physical violence against folks with vaginas. Less common for people to have an...
What? In what countries are they testing hymens and attacking women because of it?
Intact hymen. And, you know, folks who do have a fully intact hymen, that isn't helpful for them.
Why don't you do a video to those countries that you believe that these women are being attacked? Let them know. Let them know that the hymen isn't important. In developed countries where it's not an issue, like ours, you just sound stupid.
Either when it comes to, you know, if they're going to start their period, the blood doesn't have anywhere to flow. And so there are surgeries that folks would have to undergo in order for the hymen to actually not be intact. But the way I see it, that, like, you know, you have this like vaginal canal, right? So say this is like the whole of the vagina, and this would be like a slightly intact hymen. In most cases, this is really what it would look like, where it's still an opening, right? But this would be like loose skin.
To me, honestly, it feels like a vestigial organ. It's the appendix of the vagina, I like to call it.
I generally don't know why she did that. I'm not inspecting inside of women's vaginas, lady. What in the hell possessed you to give out that knowledge?
You don't really need it, but it's there.
Abstaining from sex makes you better at sports. I'm assuming that, again, sex negative culture. We don't want people to have
the whole semen retention thing, but that's mostly for men. I don't think they have ever said it for women. But there's also a bunch of other random nonsense, like lucky socks or whatever the hell. Like, there's a bunch of shit. Athletes, a lot of them are very stupid people, and superstition just gives them confidence. I don't understand why you have to debunk anything.
Have sex, and so it's like, well, if you really want to be good at basketball, you better not have sex with, at all.
No, it's probably something made up by a coach or whatever the hell to keep them focused on the game instead of on girls, because it can be a distraction. I don't think anyone meant it to be like a real thing.
Because you want to reserve all your energy, show that on the court, but there's no, as far as I know, any study that shows.
But I also don't have any sort of confidence in you. You're all about pronouns and shit. I doubt you even know what a woman is.
Abstaining from sex is going to make you better at sport.
Yeah, I haven't read any study either. But actually, fun fact, in the Rio Olympics in 2016, more than 450,000 condoms were distributed. So athletes are having a lot of sex. But I think if you...
Yeah, because they're generally fit and attractive people. And especially if they're professional athletes, they have a lot of money as well. Successful, fit, attractive. They're gonna have sex. And the females, I mean, they're women. They can have sex regardless.
You're responsible and you are having sex responsibly in a consensual manner, I think why not? Have fun with sex, and then go play your game.
Your wallet is a great place for a condom.
No.
Hey, you got a condom on you?
No. People only put condoms in their wallet for convenience, not because they think it's a good place for it. What are these myths?
I know you have a condom in your wallet.
I think that we've seen this, right? Where they're like, oh, I have a condom in my wallet from 15 years ago. Honey, don't use that.
You saw that on a TV show or a movie. You didn't see that. That didn't happen in real life.
Importantly, condoms
live in the real world.
Expire in like 5 years. There's like, so check the expiry date. Never store it next to a sharp object. Never store it in a really humid place. And never store it in really, I think it's a tight place. Yeah, your wallet. And if you're going out for a booty call, you get that call and it's your moment to shine. Just grab a couple of condoms, put them in your pocket.
Sex burns a lot of calories. Depending on the kind of sex I
don't think it burns a lot, but it'll burn calories.
You're having, it can certainly burn calories. I don't think it's the equivalent of, running a marathon by any means. It's not as excessive of an amount the way maybe people think of having like a full 30-minute exercise, because your heart rate is not elevated to that degree the entire time.
Yeah, totally agree with you, Jada. I think that there was a recent Time article that came out that said that you don't burn more than 100 calories.
Yeah, I would assume so. One study found that sex burned more than 100 calories, at least for men. Yeah, because, men are doing most of the activities.
In a single session of sex. But for the most part, do not think that this is your workout. It is a workout. It gets your heart rate pumping. But we would definitely recommend still going to the gym and maintaining an active lifestyle.
These are myths we hear the most.
There are only 2 sexes found in nature.
Oh my God. Oh my God. There are only 2. There are only 2. But sometimes things can go wrong, and those two can be confused. If you have a sandwich and a steak, right? You only have 2 things: a sandwich or a steak. If your steak get in between of your sandwich, and now you have a steak sandwich, you didn't have those 2 different things aren't just become a third thing. You still just have a sandwich and a steak. Now they're just combined and messed up.
Not true. But I think a lot of times of like flowers that actually have both sexes, quote unquote.
They're not animals. They're not animals. We are animals.
Sexes within the flower in itself. We have labeled them as male and female. We have to remember that that's a classification that was invented by humans.
And I also think that this is one of those.
It wasn't a classification invented by humans. It was a classification observed by humans. That's how science works. You observe the reality, you test things to figure out how it works. You don't make it work a certain way. You didn't just invent something. You noticed it. People noticed gravity. They didn't invent it.
Dangerous myths that's out there, especially for intersex persons, because doctors who function in this idea that there's only 2 sexes do this irreversible corrective surgery to decide if an intersex person is quote unquote male or quote.
That's a very specific thing. What are you talking about? If a person is intersex, that's a specific conversation that they have with that person. And they make them choose. They make them choose one or the other. Because they can't live their lives as both. Because they're going to be ostracized as both. If you want to live your life as both and you're that confident, then be prepared to be alone. Because as much as tolerant as you assholes like to pretend that you are, when things are different, people don't like it. And they might pretend that they're cool with you to your face, but they don't really want to hang out with you because you look weird. So they have to choose one or the other. They can't reproduce anyway, so it doesn't matter which one they choose.
Quote unquote female for the rest of their life. And that can actually lead to a lot of psychological problems. If someone is born intersex, then they should be given the choice to decide how they want to live their lives, what their sexuality.
But it's usually found when they're kids. What kind of choice could they make? Their parents usually make the choice. Because that's what parents do. Jesus Christ.
What sex they identify as, what gender.
You think you just solved the problem, but you just made up a whole bunch of other issues. Make the child choose. The child will still be disappointed if they made a choice that they're going to regret. You didn't fix anything.
They identify as. We definitely need to change this whole ideology.
A lot of people who still believe that there are only two sexes in society will go towards science as their claim.
Yeah, but you assholes who try to disprove it, you always use intersex. You always use intersex, and that's a very specific problem. If a person was born with a tail, would you say everyone believes that people don't have tails? That's a very dangerous ideology. No, it's a very specific niche thing. And it's not something that is a correct thing with a person because they obviously can't reproduce. That means that they're not supposed to function that way. Something went wrong. Not that they're not people and they shouldn't be respected, but they're just not going to be able to experience everything in life that most people can. And that's okay, but they have to deal with their situation specifically. You can't try to treat them like everybody else. You can't include them in a conversation that is about everybody else. Like there's only two gender. You can't include those people just because you want to create an argument for people that believe they were born in the wrong body. That's a completely different set of people, but you use intersex to somehow defend that. You act like you're smart. None of you are intelligent, so you're not tricking anybody. You just look like fools. And people that don't want to offend other people just go along with your idiocy.
Right, and science as their backup. And this is the part where we have to remember that science is also problematic sometimes. Yeah,
science is problematic. Science is a method of exploring and gaining knowledge, but it's problematic. Because of why? Why? It hurts your feelings? That things don't match up the way you imagine them in your head? That makes science problematic and not you? God damn, I hate these people, man.
Tough one, because it's like, it's not just changing the culture, it's literally changing the entire system that taught us this culture.
You can get an STI from a toilet seat.
I mean, the worst part about them is that they cause more harm than good, but when they cause the harm, they're not gonna blame themselves. They're gonna blame someone else, and they're gonna walk away from all these tragic people that believe something is real when it's not, and now they're sad and they want to end themselves, and those people are just gonna walk away and they're gonna blame somebody else because they're making money off of this. They're making money off of having people transition, because those doctors they make money. The pharmaceutical company that provides the drugs for those things like puberty blockers and all, they make money. Everybody's making money. The therapists, they're making money. All of them are making money. But they act like they're heroes when they're just opportunists. They don't give a shit about people. They're just using them. And they're demonizing the people that actually want to help. It's freaking sad, man.
Medically and technically and scientifically speaking, the bacteria that does cause, syphilis and other, STIs can only live in those warm mucous membranes within your body. Suppose we took that bacteria and we, put it on a toilet seat, it wouldn't live there for more than a couple of hours. It would die out. So it's impossible for someone to go and sit on it and then get that infection. And you also cannot get pregnant from sitting on a toilet seat either.
The word STI, sexually transmitted infection, and so it's sexually transmitted between bodies. Only older people should need lube. Oh God. Now we get into the ageist myths. I just want to be like, no, it's
Ageist. Ageist. That doesn't even sound like a myth. That sounds like a joke. Someone made a joke. You people are sickening. The way you use words and language to just reframe things to mean whatever you want. Make yourself feel like you're the good people and everybody else is bad.
It's not true. Everyone can benefit from using lube. It's honestly, I think, the most underrated sex accessory. If you don't purchase anything else, please purchase lube. This is for people of all ages.
So a lot of people with uteruses who go through menopause, when you have decreased...
People with uteruses go through menopause. If you use the scientific method, you can use all those traits, add them together and see what they equal. Maybe you'll find out what a woman is.
Estrogen, it reduces the vaginal lubrication. And our body does have natural vaginal lubricants. So having sex during that time can be painful, can be hard, and can be uncomfortable, really. And don't use Vaseline. Yeah. So you don't want to put lotions, which is meant to be on your skin, your external skin. The vagina has a mucous membrane. It's completely different from the skin on your body.
Water-based is going to probably be the safest bet for your own body. And depending on if you decide to use toys, it's usually not recommended to use silicone lube with silicone toys. Plastic can react to plastic.
Yeah, it's also definitely not recommended to use oil-based lubes with condoms because you can risk breaking.
Sex equals penetration. Oh gosh. People get to have their own definitions of sex. I think a lot of times we think that...
What? All right. Listen, I can't finish this video. These people are ridiculous. They're clowns. Until next time.